Today we're sous videing a steak and then we're going to reverse sear it. Check this out. Well, as you know, we do a lot of things out here on our smoker and on our griddle. I always wanted to try sous videing something. So what you see right here is a little sous vide rig. We've got the sous vide cooker in a pot of water. And I went ahead and started this with a chuck roast, right? It's about 1.5 inch thick chuck roast. Now, all I did with this, let me take this out of my vacuum sealed bag here. Now, what we'll tell you, I started this thing 38 hours ago. Didn't have to go that long. They say it makes it a little more tender the longer it goes with a meat that doesn't have as much connective tissue in it, which this doesn't. So all I did was I put that chuck roast into a vacuum sealer. I added about 3 tablespoons of water with a little bit of bouillon added to that just to give it some amazing flavor. And I wanted it to be really, really juicy as we reverse sear this. So you can see there's some extra juice in there, not only from the meat cooking, but also from the broth we put in there. So this is really pretty simple. You vacuum seal the bag, you get your sous vide up to the temperature you want. I want this to be a lovely medium rare. So I cooked this for that 36 or 38 hours, I don't remember exactly what it was, at 133 degrees. So it is very rare right now. We're gonna put it on a ripping hot Blackstone for about a minute on each side. That's all there's gonna be to this. Can't wait to check this out. Go ahead and cut this open. Ooh, it smells amazing. Dang. Now I'm just going to take this liquid. I'm going to pour it out into a small bowl. I figure this is going to be an amazing au jus should we want to use any of that. Whew. A lot of moisture came out of that. It's way more water than I put in there. Like I said, it was 3 or 4 tablespoons of it. That was it. All right. We now have our beef ready to pull out here. Let me show you what that looks like. Now what I've done here is I put all 4 of my burners on here. Obviously this meat's not that big, but I want to make sure that it hits a very hot griddle top. So I've got this, I left it on high for about 10 minutes. You can see it's already starting to smoke. It's dry looking. I'll add just a bit of oil here in a moment. I've got these down at about medium temperature right now. I'm going to start the meat over on this side. We'll get a great sear on it. When I flip it, I can flip it onto one of the hotter sections of the griddle. It's the reason why I went ahead and heated the whole thing up. All right, we'll start with just a bit of oil here. I don't want a lot, because I don't want this to get oily, but I do want to make sure that it doesn't necessarily stick to this. You can see just how hot that is. I need a bit more than that. Ran right into that dry metal. Well, I can feel it in my knuckles just running the tongs over the top of this thing. There we go. Now you get a first view of what this chuck roast steak looks like. Get that guy put right on there. Ripping hot. All right, that's been about 45 seconds. Look at that, that's what we want. We'll give it just another couple of moments there. All right, 1 minute later, let's go ahead and get this guy flipped right over. And I want to move over just a little bit because I want to get a nice...
All right, so I'm doing the editing and I got to point something out. You saw me take my hands, fold that napkin and wipe the oil. I've done this 100 times before, but if you do it using slow motions. What ended up happening was as I slid my hand forward, I pushed that oil that was ripping hot on the griddle and splashed it up on my hand and burned my finger. Here, watch it again.
Now this is looking exactly the way we want to see it. We'll pull this off in about another 8 or 10 seconds. We'll pop it right on our cutting board. Look at that. Now I know the temptation. The temptation is to cut this right away, but let it sit. Let it sit for 3 to 10 minutes. What we want to have happen is for those juices to incorporate back into the meat. Should be really good. I love the crisp edge that we just got just by high temperature griddling that. You do it in a cast iron skillet as well on a regular stove. You saw I put a little bit of butter on the top just for some of that flavor. If I was doing this on a stovetop in a pan, I would be ladling some of that butter that was in the pan on top of it and letting that just kind of continue to work into the meat. I think we've rested long enough. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of kosher salt, finishing salt on here. We'll slice this guy up. Actually, I should cut right down here in the middle. Let's pull this piece off. Let's see what we got here. Man, that looks nice. Just want to do a couple of thin slices to see if I'm cutting the right way across the grain against it. And then we'll cut a nice thicker slice here. All right. Let's take a look-see here. Went ahead and cut a couple of really thin slices and a couple that were a little bit thicker. Try one of these thin slices. Looks really good. Smells absolutely amazing. The beef flavor comes through so strong. It's really, really good. Flavor's good. Texture's a little unique. It's a little tough. Now, it may be because I did buy this a cheap chuck roast steak. I just wanted to try it out the first time this way. But I would slice this up and serve it to the family for dinner and enjoy the heck out of it. Like, it's that good. It is surprisingly not as juicy as I thought it would be. Cooking for 30 hours in its own juices, I thought would have really absorbed down into this significantly more. I take a little bit of this and drop it into some of this au jus. That kicks up the moisture and the flavor content, surprisingly enough. Tastes really good. Try another piece of this. All right. I would say it's a triple. It's not a home run, it's a triple. Really good. But I think next time I do this, I will do it with a much better cut of meat. It's funny, I actually had a couple of fillets and a couple of ribeyes in the cart. I'm like, oh, we'll do these as a reverse sear in the sous vide cooker. And I looked at this, like, it's gonna be like $45 for these couple of steaks. Let me try it out on a cheaper piece of meat, see how it works first, make sure I get all this stuff down. So that's what I did here. We'll tell you, dipped in a little bit of au jus, slice this real thin. This would make an amazing roast beef sandwich. Sliced thick like that on a plate with some carrots and mashed potatoes, this would be a good old 1980s meat and potatoes kind of dish. Just reminds me of stuff Mama would make, you know? I hope you've enjoyed this video. A bit of a different one. First time we've ever done any sous vide. I will be doing more for sure. Safe and happy grilling, y'all. Oh, good, you're still here. Hey, listen, if you enjoyed this video, check out all of our PitBoss smoking recipes right here and all of our Blackstone griddle runs right there.